who's joining in. It's great to see people being interested in goaltending. So just a little bit more information about my background. So I grew up in a small town in Canada, and I started playing the goal at the age of 7. And it was only a goalie. That's all I ever played. And after a couple of years of playing college hockey, I started my career in Norway. Again, because my father was Norwegian, that made me eligible for the national team. And that got me into the play in the World Championships and the Olympics. And so I played for 2 teams in Norway. Then I went on to play for Sparta Prague. And then I did 4 years in Germany. And then my last year I played in the UK for Basingstoke. So basically growing up, you know, I never had a goalie coach. I never went to hockey schools. So I'm more or less just a self-taught goalie. You know, played a lot of games and kind of learned the hard way. And so what I'm doing is going to try and help you guys out by giving you a little bit of information from what I've learned from my playing days. So basically, what got me noticed by people was my ability to steal wins. And what I mean by that is basically playing games where your team is being outplayed, and so you're facing lots of shots, and you make a difference, and you can win games that you really shouldn't have won. So like if you make 40 saves and the other goalie makes 15 and you win 3-2, you know, that's a stolen win. And that was something I was good at. And that was basically what I liked. I liked playing against more difficult teams, you know, something to challenge myself. And I like getting lots of shots. So that's, you know, basically what got me noticed by people. And so I basically built a career out of being able to do that. So move on to the next one here. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think the very basics of goaltending is. So basically, you have to overcome your natural instinct of trying to get out of the way of something. So, you know, it's not normal for people to put themselves in harm's way. And so it's something you have to learn over time is, you know, get rid of that sort of flinching reflex and go straight into just focusing on getting part of your body in front of the puck. And, you know, for goaltenders, you have to want to stop the puck. So, you know, desire is such a key point in a goalie and their development. You know, if you don't have the desire to stop the puck, you know, things become so much more difficult. And if you look at all the top goalies in the world, whenever they're doing interviews, they're always saying how, you know, that they hated being scored on in games and they hated being scored on in practice, and that, you know, their desire to stop the puck was paramount for them. And to do this, you know, it takes a lot of hard work. You know, you have to put in the effort to do this, because it's not an easy thing to do. And but I think, you know, being a goalie, it's worth it. You know, it's a unique position in sport. There's nothing else like it in any other sport. And, you know, to be able to do that, it's really quite an accomplishment, and you should be happy and proud of yourself for being a goalie. So here I'm going to show you just a nice little clip, what I find very inspirational. So it's the 1960s hockey, so slightly different style of play and everything. But I want you to just run through it here and we'll watch it. So, you know, he makes a save, falls down, plays a rebound, as it comes in here. So he's moving over, gets hit in the face, and then puts his arm out to try and stop the puck. So if we kind of look over that again, his focus and his concentration is just ultimate. You know, all he's thinking in that situation is trying to stop the puck. He's not worried about himself. He's not worried about anything else. And even when you watch it over again, you know, he has players falling on top of him. He's looking at the puck. He's trying to get in a better position here. So he's pushing himself over, gets hit in the face. But next thing he's doing, he's trying to get his glove over to make the next save. And I think, you know, that's, for me, that's the essence of goaltending, you know. But luckily, you know, equipment has improved since then, so we can, we don't have to face the same fear of getting hit in the face like he did. So, okay, so today's talk, we're going to help talk about improving your gameplay. And, you know, and we're going to focus on your thought processes and, you know, what's involved in playing games, and especially games that are where you're under pressure. And for me, I think goaltending, there's 2 types of mental pressure you have to deal with. So there's the pressure of handling the stress, you know, trying to play well, make saves, and win the game. And then there's the mental stress of, you know, concentration and trying to watch and understand what's going on around you. And so we're going to work on trying to focusing on the transition of just going from, you know, focusing on stopping the puck to engaging in more aspects of the play. And so to do this, you got to have the ability to read the play. So reading and reacting are key words with goaltenders. And so what you have to do in this situation, for an example, you have a player come down with the puck, and he comes down and takes a shot, you're going to be squared up to him. You got your angles right. You're in the right position. He shoots. You make the save. So when you look at the situation again, guys coming down with the puck, let's say he can take the shot, or he could pass to player A and even to player B. So now in the situation, he's come down with the puck. If he makes the shot, you're squared up, ready for it, make the save. But if he passes to player A, you have to be ready to move over so that you're now squared up and ready so that if player A takes a shot, or if he passes to B, then you have to be ready so that you're moving over, getting into the position. So you're nice and squared up and ready for the shot for player B. So nice and a basic situation where he's coming down, you're looking at it going, okay, he can shoot, or he can pass to A or pass to B. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be ready for the shot, but I also know if it's passing to A, I'm ready to go to this spot to be faced up to it. Or if it passes to player B, I'm going to go to that spot and be ready for that shot. So you're knowing his options, even maybe before he does. And so you're already one step ahead of the play. So you're getting into it and you're focused, you know what can possibly happen, and you're ready for those different options. And so I find that like reading the play is using your desire to stop the puck more effectively. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some videos from games that I played in the World Championships. And so I've chosen to use games that I played so that you can see what happens, and you can see that I'm going to try and share with you my thought processes of what I was thinking when this situation was going on, just to help, give a bigger picture of what's happening and what I'm trying to get my point across here. So the reasons I chose these two games is that in these games, no one was expecting us to get any points from these games. We were clear underdogs in these games, and we were clearly outplayed. So, you're looking at, the gold medal Olympic champions, the reigning world champions. Norway, we were, I think, ranked 9th or 10th. So everybody's, it's going to clearly that they're going to win. So in these games, you're under a lot of pressure. So like in the Finland game, I made 52 saves, and the Russia game, I made over 60 saves. I don't remember the exact number, but as you can see, I only let in 4 goals. So in these games, it gives lots of examples here of what it was like to be under pressure. Okay. So while we're watching these videos now, if you just keep in mind different things that I want you to be thinking about. So the goalie being a positive influence on the game. So what I mean by that is that you're helping out your team, and what you're doing is improving the situation for your own teammates. So then also reading the game, being aware of the different situations and making the right plays from what you see, what's going on. Creating opportunities, little simple things of helping out your team to, help them start initiating the breakout. Little things like that can go a long way. And all of these things, you basically need effective communication with your team. So talking with your team is key to help get a better result out of the game. So you're working all together as a team to play better, okay? So on this first clip, it's going to be 2 parts to it. So the first part is me communicating with one of my players, and then the second part, I'm going to talk about what I do to help keep focus in the game. So if we go to the first bit of the clip here now, so this is in the game against Finland, and it's in the second period. So I think at the time it's still 0-0. So we're just going to roll this along here and watch. So what happens, the puck ends up going behind the defenseman. So I'm pointing to him and yelling at him that the puck is behind him. So he doesn't get to the puck. The Finnish player gets to it first. But in this situation, I'm talking to him, trying to help him get back into the play as soon as possible. So they get the shot and I make the save. So I'm going to show here. So this is what I'm doing here now is me helping to get refocused for the situations. What I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to show a little bit again. I'd love to say, get in the right position, get save. Put a little extra flash into the save there. But I'm going to go back here 1 sec so you can see. Let's see. There we go. So, okay, so the puck hits my defenseman there, and it ends up being behind him. So you're going to see just there. So I'm now pointing to him, and I'm yelling at him that the puck is behind him. So he starts turning around, but the Finnish player gets to it first. Okay, so then it's going to go up. Roll that around a little bit here, and I make the save. Okay, so after this is over now, what I'm going to do, basically I'll hand the puck to the linesman, and then I'll start to help myself refocus. So I'm taking nice, long, deep breaths, and I'm, assessing what has happened now. I'm trying to relax, but I'm also going to start talking to myself to give myself a little bit of of time to cool down, clear my head. And basically in that situation, what I would do is I'd have two or three key phrases that I would talk to myself just to remind myself to work on certain things or things I needed to be thinking about in the game. So what I usually would be telling myself is I would tell myself to ride the bike. So get on my bicycle. And by telling myself that, what I'm saying to myself is that I have to keep moving. I have to keep moving. So if the puck is moving, I'm moving. I don't want to be stationary. I'm following the play. Everything is just going in a movement. So like if you're riding a bicycle and it's not moving, you know, it falls over. So my idea is that I'm going to keep moving, and I'm moving with it. And I'm going to be light on my feet and nice and ready to move. Another thing I would be thinking is, Connor will know this, thumbs up. So I always found that I was starting to drop my glove a little bit. So if I said thumbs up to myself, I would keep my thumb pointing straight up in the air so that I had my glove in the right position. So I was making more glove saves. Just a little thing like that to remind myself. Even on the back of my helmet, I had "stay loose" written on it. And that was what my father used to tell me before a game. And it just helped me to relax. He said, you know, that if I was tensing up and getting too focused, too concentrated, I wasn't relaxed and I wasn't playing right. I was, you know, too tense. I wasn't moving with any flow. So I'd again remind myself, you know, stay loose, relax, you know, everything's going to be okay, kind of thing. So it's clear in my head and then getting ready. And then I'll start at this point, getting ready, thinking about the face off, what's going to happen to that, and sort of analyzing that. But it's just getting myself to relax, calm down, and refocus and get ready for the next play. Okay. So next one, we're going to be talking about controlling space around the net. So in the first clip is going to actually be a shot from above, and you're going to be seeing me talking to my defenseman, and then I'm going to be pointing and talking to, I think, my centerman, and then the play is going to be off to my right, and they're going to be it's going to be a pass across. So it's a little short clip here. So I'm just going like that. So see you there. I'm looking, talking, pointing, talking, following puck, putting my stick out, be in the passing lane, and moving over with that. So you don't see the puck there at all, but I'm just going to roll it back here again. So in this situation, so we see here, I actually see my, if you notice, my defenseman's actually holding the guy's stick there for a little bit. So back in the year of clutch and grab hockey. So I'm looking around, and I'm probably telling him to stay with his man. Now I'm noticing that there's another guy free. So it's probably my centerman. I'm telling him to stay with him. Now I'm getting ready for the puck that's coming from the corner. Put my stick down, getting in the passing lane, controlling the area around in front of me. So the puck, you can't see it now, but he's going to move and he's going to pass across. So it's out of my reach, but I'm going to try and deflect it if I can. But at the same time, I'm moving over and across, following where the puck's going. So it's, again, a bit of communication with my players, helping my teammates out, but being ready for the play and moving with the puck. So this is going to be a slightly different situation. So again, what it's going to end happening is the puck's going to be, again, from my right side and pass across. So we'll just watch this here for a second. So it's going to roll around. So again, we're kind of in trouble. The Finns are outplaying us. Puck's moving around. So they're going to drop it down low. So he's looking for the pass across. I deflect the puck up in the air. And that. So if I didn't put my stick in the passing lane and controlling the area in front of me, if that pass got across, that guy had a perfect opportunity to take a one-timer shot, which would have been a difficult save or a goal. So, you know, in a situation you don't want to be in. So the idea with that is I know the player's over there. I know it's a risk, and I put my stick in the way, and luckily I deflected. So here we're going to see it again in slow motion. So it goes off the stick, up in the air, and go to the play. So he has to knock it down, but it gives my teammates time to move around. But if you look at it at myself here, after the puck hits my stick, my eyes are following the puck all the time, and my chest is following the puck all the time. So the puck is going from my right to my left, but I'm going with it. You know, I probably shouldn't be standing straight up, but I know the puck's up in the air at the moment. But my body movement is going with the puck all the time. Okay. So now we're going to do poke checks. Poke checks are a little bit harder to do. Takes a lot of practice, and it's all working on timing. But again, you're taking control of your space in front of the net and making things more difficult for the other team. So to do a good poke check, you really have to be able to read the play and get your timing down just right. So then the first clip, so now we're in the white. So this is the first clip from playing against Russia. So as you can see, again, there's a bit more clutching and grabbing going on with my defenseman there. But you see him behind him, the puck is against the boards. And in this situation, at the moment, nobody can, I'm sorry. At the moment, nobody can play the puck. And I guess I'm a little bit out of the screen here, but if you could see my head, I'm not actually looking at the puck. I'm looking out in front. So I can see there's 2 Russians in the corner. The puck is free. Nobody can play it. So I'm actually scanning out, looking to see where the other 3 Russian players are and what my defensemen are doing. And if I need to help talk to them or anything, I'm doing that. But I'm trying to organize and get ahead of the play, know what their options are before they do. Okay. So just 1 second, I get it going here. Is it not playing? Not playing here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now comes out, pass out to guys open, we'll poke check. Okay, so and then the play goes on here. But if we roll it back here for a second, as the guy's coming out, around the corner, around past my D, and he makes the pass, the guy is open. I'm stepping out, seeing that he's got his head down, so he's not looking at me, and he's trying to pull the puck back. So he's coming in to attack and try and make a play coming across with the back end. Perfect timing for me with the stick, pushes the puck off, back in behind him, out of play, and then we have to regroup the situation. Okay, so here we'll move on to the next one. Oh, going back to that. Okay, so now we're back into the game against Finland, so we're back in the red. Slightly different situation, but again, coming out from the corner and making a poke check. Okay, so watch this here now. A poke check like that, and the puck goes off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is roll this back here again. So in this situation, so the puck's up against the boards in the corner. As you can see up front, my player, he's a forward at the time there, he gets knocked over by the Finnish player. So now that guy is wide open in front of my net. I look over and see that he's out there. So I know that's a dangerous option. So that's in the back of my mind that something could happen there. Okay, so we end up cycling in the corner. They get control. He's driving in towards the net. So I know he's going to try and pull the puck out across and bring it across. And there's just that 1 second where he doesn't have control of the puck. I get my stick out, poke it away. But at the same time, I'm keeping myself squared up to where the puck is. And I'm getting ready that if I miss on that poke check, I can still slide across and hopefully make a save like that. And I'm getting up quick and then watching the play, watching the puck. So it's making things more difficult for the other team. Don't give them the space to come in, make a play. Like he could have skated around and tried to put it on the far side or anything like that. You're making things difficult for them, but it does take a bit of practice to do something like that. Okay. So nice little thing here with setting the puck up for the defenseman. Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to come in over center. They're going to dump the puck in on the goal. And what I'm going to do is set the puck up for my defenseman so they can start the breakout nice and easy. So again here, so it's skating up, comes over center. He's going to take a slap shot. I'm going to control the puck, put it down for my defenseman. He goes skating in the corner. He's got lots of time and space, so we're starting to break out. So in this situation, we're going to see as the shot comes down, and so now I've caught the puck and I have the puck under control. And hopefully you can see this clearly. So I'm looking up now, seeing the situation. So it's 1 against my 2 defensemen. So they're going to be working together. So I'm setting the puck down as quick as I can and push it off to the side. So my defenseman who's coming in doesn't have to worry about anything else. And I'm telling him that he's got time and he's clear. The other defenseman's running a little bit of interference to help him out. So I pushed the puck actually a little bit too far there because you want to give him the option that he can go behind the net if he wants to or turn into the corner. But I pushed it a little bit too far, but turning into the corner was a perfect option anyways. And I come out and the breakout nice and easy. So it's me getting control of the puck quickly, seeing the situation, seeing the best thing to do is give it to my defenseman, giving it to him early. I'm not playing with the puck. I'm not setting it down, putting it over, giving it a little extra tap with my stick. Put it out there, let him know it's for him. Let him know that he's not under pressure. Make it simple, nice, easy, quick little breakout. Okay, so the next clips are going to be, helping to create opportunities. So you're helping out your team by doing things with the puck. So on this first one now, Again, we're going to play against Finland here. Again, we're under a lot of pressure. So at this moment, there's only 2 minutes left in the game. Score's 1-1. The Finns are putting a lot of pressure on because they're trying to win the game. So things are a bit hectic. And so we'll just roll it here for a little bit. So at the moment, there's not much happening, but I don't know if you can see me up here in the corner. I'll be looking around, moving over here. So again, a little bit of block shots. You know, my teammates are trying their best to make sure they don't score. Bit scrambly, puck comes up. So he's now going to dump it behind the net. And all I do is I poke it into the corner. So I change the direction of the puck. We get a little breakout here, pass it across. We now have a 2-on-1. So diving into the game, 2-on-1 makes a nice move here, goes in like that, and doesn't score. But we created something out of nothing. So basically what I was doing in this situation is when the play comes down to the side here and he throws a puck behind the net. So the Finns are now expecting the puck to go off the boards behind the net and out to the other side. But all my teammates are already set up on this side. And since the Finns are expecting the puck to go over there, I changed the direction of the puck. So now it's going in the corner. So now my D has to fight for the puck in the corner, but we're all more or less in that situation of being ready for it. And luckily he gets the puck, you know, and then he starts to break out. We get this nice 2-on-1, again, good situation here where we could actually have won the game. And that would have been, you know, fantastic, but it didn't happen. But it's a little simple, something like that. Just you're messing up what they want to do. And it's just quick little easy tap with the stick. Okay, so now this, we're going back to the Russia game. So this is about halfway through the first period. So it's 0-0. We've been completely outplayed. I think we barely even had a shot on net by this point. We get a bit of a power play going here. And we'll see what happens here. So we lose the face-off, goes back. So they're going to dump the puck down into our zone. Goes past the D, goes in the corner. So I'm skating out, get control of the puck, control it. So it's a 1-on-1, hang on to the puck, give it to my D. Not the best pass, but he gets it. So he's starting the breakout. It's going to come over center. He's going to dump the puck in, give it to the goalie. Makes a really bad play there, passes up to us, bang, we score. So now in this game, we're being completely outplayed, but we're now up 1-0 in this situation. We're going to watch the rebound or the replays of the goalie here. He has no reason to try and shoot that puck out. His D could easily pick that puck up and take it around and shot it out. Instead, he tried to pass it through two of our players. Second guy got the puck, easy goal. See there, no reason for him to do that. Easy goal, changes the whole momentum of the game, puts them under a bit more pressure. So, but in this situation, so I'm a little bit slow getting out there. And if I'm not the best at handling the puck, but I should have turned around and kept it facing forward and be more active that way. But I got the puck. Let's see here now. And I give it to my D. We have the puck. We have it under control. So it's in our possession. If I didn't go out there, the Russian had a chance to battle for the puck with our defenseman, could killed more time on, with our power play, or he could have created a scoring chance for them. But instead, we have control of the puck, give it to my D. He brings it down, and we end up getting the goal. So just a simple little thing, playing the puck, making it easier for my players. We get the breakout, go down, and we get a bit of luck and get the goal. Okay, so now in this situation, so it's in the second period, sort of midway, I guess, in the second period against the Finnish team. So in this situation, it's 5-on-5, shot goes over the net, puck goes around the boards, down on our end, puck comes down, Finnish player is going to get there first. I play to my D, he plays it back to the other D, so they're forechecking, putting a bit of pressure, but we have control of the puck. Nice little, beautiful little flip pass here. Guy goes down, shot, rebound, goal. Again, completely outplayed, but now we're up 1-0. And again, it changes the dynamic of the game, puts a little bit more pressure on the Finns. So now in their situation, they now, if, they're expecting to score goals, but now if we got a goal and if we get another one, it becomes 2-0, changes everything in the game. But if you look at their goalie, way overcommits on the first shot. So he has no chance on the second. He almost gets it, but it's a bit, he makes things so much harder for him. There's no reason for him to be that far out of the net. So bad rebound, easy goal. So in both situations, we go back to this here now. And when the puck comes down, So I'm playing the puck to my D. Otherwise, the Finnish player would have got the puck and they would have had pressure on us. Okay, so it makes a difference that we're keeping control of the puck. Again, they're forechecking, but we were in possession. We can start the breakout. The guy does a really nice flip pass, and we go down and score. So in both of these situations, you know, people watching the game, they're not going to remember that, you know, the goalie went out and stopped the puck and kept control of the puck. They're going to remember the goals, but little simple things like that can mean a big thing in a game. Okay. So now we're going to talk a little bit about penalty killing. Okay. So the first clip is going to be against the Finnish, and it's again, it's in the first period, and we're going to be under pressure throughout the whole thing. So if you can watch. I'm going to be looking around. There's times when I'm not under pressure, and I'm going to be looking around, checking to see where the players are. If I know where all the players are, it makes things so much easier for myself. Okay, so we'll see here. Just run it for a little bit. So again, we lose the face-off. Finns are going to get organized here in a second. Okay, so from playing Finland the year before in the World Championships, I know that their power play is going to be based on setting up on my right side. So they're going to get in the position. This is what they want down to this guy. So they're going to have one high guy in defense. He's going to be running the whole show. I got two guys off to my left. You see them there, and one guy down low on my right. Okay. So he's going to try and make a pass across here. So moving over with it. Bad pass. So then they have to set up and regroup. They're going to try and regroup and get things going how they want. Everybody gets back in the position. So again, he's in control. So you have to stay square to that guy. My D actually blocks the shot. Nice of him. Puck goes behind the net here. So they're going to set it up again. One timer. And I make a glove save. So in this situation, I know that what they want to do is they have two guys on the far side for one timers. You know, backdoor plays. I have the guy off to my right to keep an eye on, and I have the 1D up high to make the save. So in that situation, I know where they are, so I know the guy's pass options, so I can stay square to the guy off to the side there before. So I can stay square to him. Luckily for me, he makes a nice slow pass to the D, but I already know where he is, and I know where the two guys to my left are. I know the guy will be coming out from my right, and then we just roll it. So you can actually see I get there way before the puck. So I'm nice and relaxed. I'm in the right position, got my angles covered, out far enough, make a nice easy save. Everything's under control. So, okay, so now this is going to be a completely different situation in the penalty kill. So this is the game against the Russians. They want to have three guys up high, and then they put the two forwards in front of the net. So in this situation, he's going to bring it up, and then number two here is going to do a one-timer. Take shot's going to go off. Their player in front. I skate out, clear the puck off the boards. We get the puck out, and then eventually he'll just sort of dump it into the corner. But in this situation, I know where their players are. And so when the shot comes down and they have the two players in front, so right in here, and it goes off the one player that's in front of me, and the puck goes to my right now. So I don't make the save, but I read the puck where it's going. And so I know that I can beat the Russian players to the puck. So straight away, I've gone straight into it, and I know I can get the puck. So my first thought is to jump on it and cover it. But when I'm getting there, I'm realizing I can clear the puck myself, even though I'm not the best at shooting. So I put the puck about knee height off the boards in front of their D to make it difficult for him. And I got my forward coming up who then will pick the puck off and that. But it's me having the confidence to know that I could get to the puck first, and that's I knew exactly where all the Russian players were and how I could, you know, make a play to help my team out. And this is late in the game, so the score is 2-2. So in some ways it was a bit of a risky play, but I had the confidence to do it. I'm sure I gave my coach a bit of a heart attack when he saw it happen, but it all worked out for the best. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of when we have the power play. So both of these clips are going to be in the game against Finland. And so we're just going to see. So this is starting off, we're in the offensive zone, and they're just going to dump the puck down in our zone. So it's a slow puck going along the boards. So in this situation, see, I've got my arms up and I'm yelling to my D that let him know for sure there's nobody coming. He can just get the puck, set it up. So we start our breakout here. Doesn't quite go to plan. But we come in, we'll just dump it down. We'll fight over the puck. So here the goalie and their D aren't working together. So he shouldn't be playing the puck like that. He should have left it for his D. They're not talking to each other and they're not sure what each is doing. So we end up battling for the puck here, pick it off at the side. So he eventually will come up and try and pass it to the D. So it's a little not so great. So he'll dump it in the corner and we'll end up turning the puck over again. And they're going to dump the puck back down. So as the puck's coming down, all the Finns are going off to change. I played up to my defenseman. So it changes. So the Finns can't change as easily as they want to because we now have the puck over center. But we're in the process. They're going to change now too. And now we're just going to dump the puck in. But we're keeping things. We're not letting the Finns set up and stay relaxed. They're under a little bit of pressure. Again, the goalie misplays it here. But now there's going to be another turnover where they poke it away and it's coming down. So I clear the puck. So it's going to just finish here. So what you can't see is off just out here at the end is there's another one of my teammates here who I'm actually passing the puck to. But in this situation, so I'm watching the play. I'm getting ready. Soon as there's a bit of a turnover. So I've gone a little bit too far. Yeah, so again, he misplays that. He shouldn't have played it up on the glass to make it hard for his own player. He's going to turn. I'm skating out and assesses the situation. And I realize I can get to the puck before the finished player. As I'm skating out to the puck, I'm realizing I need to do something when I get there. So I'm looking around because as the puck's coming towards me, I know where it's coming. I'm looking around and I could see that I had a guy over here on the boards. And so I passed the puck to him. So for me to do that, I had to be in the process of moving. As soon as the puck went off the finished player's stick and it's coming down towards me, and I'm assessing the situation. So I'm moving out as the puck's coming to me, and I realize that I can get the puck before him. So if I hadn't done that, if I hesitate and I'm sitting in the back of the net, most likely what's going to happen is he's going to come in on a breakaway and it's got a scoring chance for them. But as the situation is, I'm moving and thinking at the same time, trying to get myself in the position. So I knew that I could get to the puck before he could. I ended up playing off to the boards and keeping things under control. So we end up keeping possession. They don't get a scoring chance. Okay. So now this one is at the very beginning of the second period, and there's only like 30 seconds left, 37 seconds left in the penalty. So they're going to dump the puck down. Okay. So I see the defenseman's under pressure. So he's probably telling me to play it, and I know I have a guy up here in the boards. So I pass the puck up to him. He gives it back to the D. We dump it in again. Goalie misplays it again here. We turn it over again, and they're going to dump the puck back down. So as you can see, there's only coming up 15 seconds left in the penalty. So I know we don't have time to set up. So I don't even stop the puck. As soon as it hits my stick, I'm pushing it up to my D. So we're setting up here now, and now it's coming up 5 seconds left. So we're breaking out. So if I let the puck come all the way down, by the time we're breaking out, the penalty is going to be over. And then, so it's going to be, 5 against 5. And we're going to have to then try and get through 5 of their players. So if I give the puck to the D earlier, we can then get the breaking into their zone before their player gets onto the ice, and makes things a little bit easier for each other. So, and there's another thing I want to say there that just as after I do it, so you get when it gets to 5 seconds, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be slapping my stick on the ice, warning my defense, the guys' penalty is going to be up in 5 seconds. So they know that as soon as they hear me slap my stick on the ice, they know that the penalty is going to be over in a second. So that means that all my players aren't going to go into the offensive zone. One guy's going to be playing it safe so that if we turn it over again, that they don't end up getting a breakaway back on me. But again, that's communicating with my players, letting them know and trying to give them the best options that I can. Okay. So now we're getting a couple of last clips here for late in the game. So different situations. So the first clip is going to be against the Russians, and the score is 2-2. Let's see, we'll go here. Okay, so there's like a minute and a half left in the game. So they're going to break out and bring it into our zone. Okay, so like this, and then you see they're going to end up having 4 guys jump into the place. That's their defenseman coming up, pass across, off the stick, into the goal. So ends up, instead of it being a 2-2 game and, being an epic first time getting points off the Russians, ends up losing 3-2. So in this situation, being under a lot of pressure all through the game, I'm, tired. I'm not thinking as clearly as I should be. So in that situation, I'm playing a shot from the guy off to the side here and not thinking about passing options for them. So it's actually a great pass for him because he's reaching over the D, puts a stick on it, just slides inside the post. And you can see I can almost get it here. just out of reach of my glove. But I end up not thinking clearly, focusing on just thinking this guy's going to shoot, getting too rigid, not able to move and get a perfect movement, lateral movement. So I end up just, in desperation trying to get a glove on it. So that's the thing about your conditioning and that, and giving up. In a way, a soft goal ended up losing the game because I wasn't thinking as clearly as I should be. So now we're going back to the finished game, and you see there's 35 seconds left. Again, we're going to be under a lot of pressure. The Finns are trying to win the game. So they're going to come down the side here. So the guy makes a shot from the rebound, and we're going to clear the puck. So in this situation, that was their last shot that they got in the game. And what I'm thinking here now, if I go through. So as they're coming down the side here, I don't know for sure, just out of, you can't see out of the situation, but there is a Finnish player way off to the right. I do not want a rebound going off to that guy, because then that's going to be big trouble. So I'm making sure that when this guy shoots, and he kind of clearly, especially with the slap shot, he's going to shoot, that I'm not letting a rebound go off to my right. So I'm just going to square up to him, and I'm playing my angles right, and I'm stepping out to the top of the crease. So I know the puck is going to hit me. So the only thing is a little bit of a gap in the 5-hole, but at that moment I'm staying light on my feet, and I've closed up my 5-hole more than I normally would. And so basically I know the puck's going to hit me or it's going to miss the net. And so I just let it hit me. So it ends up hitting on my knee, and I keep the rebound in front of me and under control. And if you can see in the situation, basically and there's another Norwegian player. So all my 5 guys are back trying to help me out to make sure that nothing happens. We end up clearing the puck. So in that situation, I was thinking out my options and what I wanted to do, and was much clearer in that situation than I was in the Russian game. And again, that was the important thing about I was in better shape, and I was just fresher and keeping things better under control. Okay, so this will be the last clip. It's a breakaway. I don't know if people know of Timo Solani. So he was a Finnish player in the NHL. So this is Timo in his prime. So it's back in '96. So, famous goal scorer. I think he's a Hall of Fame player now. And he gets a bit of a breakaway here. So nice little fast feet, nice little move there. A nice little glove save. So this is me, I think it's 15 minutes into the game. I give the puck to the linesman. He actually says, nice save. Go for my little skate, start doing my thinking process. I think the referee even said nice save too. But anyways, nice little move by Timo. I'm out on top of the crease, got my angles right, got my thumb pointing up, waiting for the shot. So you can see his skating ability is much better than our teammates' ability. Nice move on there, D. We made a lot of jokes with him about that after the game, and make the save. So, okay. So a little bit of recap, key points of what we've just seen. Okay. So for me, passive goaltending doesn't work. You need to be proactive in your play. Don't wait for everything to come to you. Try and get out there and be more aggressive in your style of play. So I'm not saying, go crazy and skate all over the place, whatever, but just be a bit more proactive in your style of play. Use your eyes. So I had a coach always saying, keep your head on a swivel, look around. So that, as you can see, there's times when there's no chance of them making a pass or taking a shot in net. You can look around, see what's going on, have a better idea of your situation. Okay. Count the opponent players when you can. So that was a thing I was always doing, was counting players. And then that way you knew where they were, and then you can go back to where the puck is. So all the time you're aware of where they are. And to say in the situation, like, when you're playing 5-on-5 here, and I count 4 players, and I go back to looking at the puck, I know that there's another player I don't know where he is. So most likely he's out of my view. So that could be another risk. So then you may not know where he is, but there's something else you got to be aware of. So just keep a better idea and keeping in control of your play. So basics, watch what's going on. Think about what's going to happen. You're going to react to the situation, and then you're going to start again. Keep it simple. See the situation, what could possibly happen. Think about what's happening, react to what's happening, relax, start again. Okay. Even when I go for my little skates, there's a little bit of that of refocusing, getting myself organized, getting ready for the next bit. Okay. Use your voice. You need to talk to your teammates. It makes things so much easier if you can talk to your teammates. And it certainly helps if they talk back to you. So you're giving them information that they could use. Tell them that they have time. Tell them there's somebody right behind them. Tell them to rim the puck around the boards. Anything like that that gives them information to help them to do the right thing. Okay. And hopefully they'll do the same, talking back to you. Rarely ever happens, but when it does, it really helps. So you can just make things easier for your teammates, which makes things easier for yourself. Be a positive influence on the game. So by your actions, by showing that your desire to stop the puck, that you're working with your teammates, that you're in the game, you're doing your best, whatever, your teammates are going to appreciate it, and hopefully they'll work harder themselves. So that's what I mean by that. Just give a positive vibe to your teammates. Use your stick. From what I've been watching here, goalies just aren't using their stick enough. So be a bit more active. Like poke checking is a little bit more difficult, and that's, takes a bit of skill to do that. But controlling the puck, being able to make a good pass to your teammates, deflecting the pucks into the corners, or using your stick to deflect the puck over the glass to get a stop in the play, things like that. Your stick is such a valuable instrument you could be using, and I think more goalies need to be more active and do that more in practice of using their stick. Okay, so when you're tired, you make mistakes, and that leads to goals being scored late in the game. So you need to be working on your physical condition. Okay, goaltending's not easy; it takes a lot of effort, and you need to be in good shape. And what happens is when you get tired, you just don't think clearly. Like on that goal where the Russians scored, I was focused on the guy taking the shot, wasn't thinking about passing, so I was too rigid, wasn't able to move across. They score. So things like that are things you can be working on. Okay, concentration. Puck's in play, you have to be concentrating on what's going on. Okay, so if the puck is in the offensive zone at the other end, if your team's in full control, you can kind of relax a little bit, but you're still watching the play. As soon as there's a turnover, you're kicking yourself into gear. You start to move, you start to read what's happening. How many players are coming down towards you? What are they going to do? What is his passing options? Is it a 2-on-2? Is it a 3-on-1? Know what's happening. So by the time they get over the red line, you have a good idea what's happening in front of you, and you can adjust your play to that situation. Okay. But you need to concentrate as you're playing. Okay. So don't get down on yourself when they score, especially in inline hockey. I mean, there's going to be goals scored. So if you let it get to you, it can really make things a lot worse for yourself. So what I would try and do is when someone would score a goal on me, I would try and analyze what happened. Okay, what did they do to score the goal? And then go, what did I do when the goal was scored? And understand, okay, they did that, I did this, maybe I should have done this. And then go, okay, that's something, I learned something from that. Okay, so then I'm going to put it in the back of my mind and then forget about it. I'm going to be focusing on what's going to happen next. When the next face off, get it out of your head, think about what you're doing, and that's really important. Okay, so if you're still thinking, oh, that was a bad goal I let in, and I should have done this and that, while the play is going on, you're more likely to let in the next shot as well, and then things could just get worse and worse and worse. So it's really important just to figure out what happened, learn from it, forget it, move on. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about training and practice. Okay, so what I want to say here is you have to practice your basic skills. Key thing for goaltending. That's what you have to be doing. So working on your skating, your C cuts, your T pushes, your butterfly, your stick work, your positioning, your angles, all your basics. You have to work on all the time. Every training you're out there, think about your basics, try and get them right, try and get them nice and smooth. So even, pros that are training every day still spend a lot of time doing their basics. So it's a key thing to be doing. Okay. Okay. So again, everything needs to be practiced. You have to make things instinct. You have to be able to just take your thinking process out of it, that you just do it automatically. Okay. Practice makes perfect? Not really. Perfect practice makes perfect. Okay. So just because you're out there training doesn't mean things are going to get better. You have to work on trying to do things correctly and doing them over and over again. So make the effort to put in to do things right. It'll make things work out much better for you. So again here, good work ethic. You know, bad habits, they're easy to get. If you're not trying in practice as you should, you end up getting bad habits, and they're really hard to get rid of. So that then becomes your go-to move when you should be doing something correct or better. Okay, so try and keep a good work ethic. So work on what you are weak at more so than what you do well. Okay, so you're trying to balance your game out a little bit more. So, you know, it's nice to do drills that you're good at, and, you know, say you're practicing your glove saves and you really enjoy that. But, you know, if you're not good with your stick, or if you're not good with your skating, you need to spend more time doing stuff like that. You know, it's not as much fun, but you're going to work at becoming a better goalie, and in the long run, you'd be much better off with it. So, okay, so every goalie has their own style of play. No two goalies are exactly the same. But what you have to do is you have to realize what style of play you can do and what style of play you want to do, and what you do, it has to make sense. Okay, so you have to be thinking about, okay, this is what I want to do. You know, does it make sense what I'm doing? Okay, really a key point here, that it has to make sense. You have to be doing whatever it is you do. Like if you're a short goalie, you can't be standing in the back of the net and dropping to a quick butterfly on shots. Otherwise, you're going to give them way too much to shoot at. So things like that, you just have to be thinking, okay, does this make sense? And does it work for me? Okay, so enjoy it. Remember, it's fun to play goal. You know, it's a unique position to be playing, and, you know, enjoy the moments. So I miss it. I wish I was doing it again. So, okay, now that we're not playing, take this time away here that we're doing things to develop your own play. So you can work on your conditioning, you can work on your timing, you know, your hand-eye coordination, you know, like throwing tennis balls against the wall, something like that. Work on your fundamentals of your movements. So, you know, you don't need to be in a gym or anything like that, but you can be practicing things, even doing, you know, practice your stick work, passing pucks, shooting pucks against the wall, things like that. You know, anything that can help develop your game. Be thinking about your game. How do you want to play? Practice in your head of a 2-on-1 situation. You're going to be squared up to the guy with the puck. He makes the pass across. You're going to have a nice lateral movement. You're going to drop down, perfect butterfly, keeping your chest up, make a nice save. So picture yourself doing stuff like that, so you can actually take this time to develop your game, and, you know, so that when we get to start playing again, you're going to be that much more ready. Okay. So, and you can do lots of other different sports as well, that can help, you know, again, develop your hand-eye coordination, your conditioning, anything like that. So you don't have to just be doing hockey. You can do other things at this time. Okay. So a few other things you can be looking at, I find. So the goalie training pro, she's a physiologist that specializes on doing exercises for goalies, and, you know, on how to do a good butterfly, how to increase your range in your butterfly, how to strengthen your hips and your quads, things like that. So things like that, most of the stuff she does, you don't really need any fancy equipment to do, and you can do it at home. And a guy I like is futurepro.com. So again, you can see all these things on YouTube. So he's a goalie coach from Canada, has a bit of fun with things, and you know, you can learn a lot from things like that. And there's loads of other things, sites and that you can find that maybe suit you, that what you like, or in your language, anything like that. So, but I think those can help you. Okay, so that's going to be it. So we're going to take questions if you'd like. So
yeah, if you have a question, write in the chat and we'll come and unmute you. We have a few that were submitted beforehand that we'll start off with. So you kind of touched on it just there, but sort of key things we can be working on at home right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I did touch a bit on that. So I think that's really important. Take this time to help develop your game. Be thinking about it, and, you know, do an exercise, like throwing tennis balls against the wall. Simple things that if you got somebody who could take shots, a nice soft ball, just go out with your gloves and your stick. You could be making saves and doing with that. Those are things you can adapt to your situation. Even just being, you know, inside the house, putting on some knee pads, be in your butterfly position. Think about your rotations, that, you know, you make the save, rebound goes to your left, you're going to rotate your shoulders, get up on your right foot, pushing over, things like that. You could be practicing where you don't need equipment or, you know, a whole lot of space to be doing things. So.
Cool. Next was tips on preparing mentally for anticipation as opposed to reaction.
Right. Yeah. So I think we talked about on that is, you know, the ability to read and react. So if you can see the situation and what's happening in front of you before they do, get an idea of, you know, what their possibilities are, that can help you get more anticipation. You're not just reacting what's happening. You already have a better idea of what could possibly happen, so that you already have your movements of what you're going to do lined up. And then that does take a little bit more pressure off yourself to make good saves. So.
Very good. Things to work on to improve movement and positioning for a goalie.
Yeah, things to be working at. So key things to that is, you know, your skating ability, your C cuts, your T pushes, things like that. You need to be better on your skates, and especially like an inline, you don't have that natural lateral movement. So, you know, comes down to your fundamentals of being more comfortable with your skates and your movements. I think those are really key. That you have to be doing every training you get is nice smooth movements, and so the more you do it, the quicker you'll get. But without skating movements, you have to play deeper in the net. You can't challenge things as much, and your lateral movement's going to be that much harder. So work on correct C cuts, T pushes, things like that will really help. So
the next one from Artem links quite well to your topic tonight in terms of playing the puck more. So we've seen a lot more in the NHL that goalies have been playing the puck more frequently and aggressively, from stopping the dump-ins to making passes in the neutral zone. Given that inline is typically played on a smaller surface, how do you see that transfers, given that it's probably more risk involved?
Yeah. So there certainly is more risk involved with the inline, but it's still an important part you can put into your play. And so it's something I think is quite overlooked here. From when I'm watching games, I don't see too many goalies actually doing it, but just being able to control the puck and even simple little passes to your own D, or just setting the puck up so that they can pick it up quicker, it makes things so much easier. It takes a lot of pressure off your teammates, takes a lot of pressure off yourself. So you need to be working on it, because, you know, you may only do it once in a game or twice in a game, but if you can do it and do it correctly, it makes a big difference. And focus on making accurate passes. So that's something you can do at any time. There's no point in working about, you know, trying to shoot it down and score in an empty net, you know, things like that. Not important. But if you do get the puck and you have to make a pass, work on your accuracy. You know, if you can put it on your teammate's stick, life is so much easier. If you just kind of flip the puck at him and the puck is bobbling and going off the boards, you're making things harder for him. So it's another part of your training that you can throw in there that can help things out. So
I have one, I guess, kind of linked to that. How do we help change the sort of the player mindset? The goalie's job is just to stop the puck and not play the puck.
Yeah, that's that's a tough one, because you have to get everybody on board with that, with coaching staffs and your teammates. Everybody has to be in agreement that this is an important part of the game. Okay, so part of the training that you have should include the pucks being thrown at the goalie, make him stop the puck, play the puck, things like that. If you don't include it in the training, then when it happens in a game, nobody knows what to do. So if you can practice, set it up in your practice of just, you know, a little dump in, make the goalie control the puck, even just set it off to the side for the defenseman to pick it up and take it behind the net, things like that. Put it into situations so that it becomes more of a natural. Everybody becomes more comfortable with it. And that helps, because you can't just do it on your own. A goalie can't just suddenly, you know, be a brilliant puck player. He needs to work at it, and he needs help from his coach to do that, and his teammates as well.
Absolutely. The next one I have is from Andrew, sort of tips to help improve hip flexibility.
Hip flexibility, yeah. So the one website I was talking about, the Goalie Training Pro, she's really great at working on specific exercise for goalies to doing stuff like that, because that's key. Water goaltending with all the butterflying and that is not good for hips. I can attest to that. My hips are shot here at the moment, and I know several goalies that have had hip replacements in their 30s. So so you need to be working on it from a young age, working on your flexibility in your hips and your strength in your hips as well. So so I think if you look out something like that, you can learn lots of several things from her. I think she's quite good because she's a physiologist, you know, and she specializes in goalies. So, you know, you can pick things out of that would be quite helpful.
That was what, goaliepro.com?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So and if you go on YouTube, there's lots of little clips, you know, like 10-minute clips of doing this exercise and that. And a lot of the things she does, you don't really need, you know, equipment, maybe some elastic bands and stuff like that. But it's quite good. And you can choose, she has specific things for, like she has a thing where about increasing your range in your butterfly, you know, in different steps, but also just, you know, base things on hip maintenance and strength and core strength and that. So I would recommend that.
Okay, so into our chat here now, we have Francois, sort of any piece of advice for penalty shootout situations?
Penalty shootouts. Okay. So for inline?
Yes.
I see. So for inline, yeah. So inline, because inline, it's harder to get your lateral movement. So you can't really challenge the shooters as much as you would if you're on ice, because it's much easier to follow the play. If a guy's coming in and you know, like he's cutting hard to your left or whatever, you can get more lateral movement. So, but you still need to get out as soon as you can, so that you're above the crease, you know, so you're maybe depending on how fast he's skating in on you and everything like that. But you need to have some backward motion as he's coming towards you, so that it's easier. If you're moving, it's much easier to have a little bit of lateral movement than if you're standing still. Okay. And you want to be in a position where you're challenging him, making it difficult. So by playing out, you're cutting down the angles. He has less to shoot at. As he's coming towards you, you're moving back nice and slow. You're getting to the top of your crease area, and maybe even in a little bit, but you're going to be in a position where you can move with him if he cuts to either side. But if he makes a shot, you're out far enough, you're covering up things, and you're more likely to make a save. So don't make it easy for him. So if you just stand in the back of the net and he comes down, he can shoot, or he can make a quick little move, whatever. So put a bit of pressure on the shooter, you know, make him have to make a good move to score a goal. So.
Okay, we have a question here from Ken, so I'm going to go on mute him now.
Oh, all right. Hi, Rob.
All right, how are you doing?
Good, and you? So very
good
presentation. I really liked it.
Okay, great.
Now I have a question, because that happens quite often, you know, in championships, especially for young goalies, where some games are tough and some are really easy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your perspective on and what would be your advice to give to goalies in one big loss situation. So, you know, lots of shots, lots of goals, zero defense.
Yeah.
And also the other situation where you have a big win. So, you know, not many shots, not many goals, and your team is winning plus, you know, 7 goals or something like that, and not a lot to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Two completely different situations. So the one where, you know, you get lots of shots and they're scoring lots of goals, it's a tough day for everybody. But again, you kind of have to try and think, okay, they're scoring goals, but I need to forget about that. I need to be thinking about the next shot. You know, it's not easy to do, but in that situation, if you can put it out of your mind and just be thinking about the next shot, what can I do to make the next save? What can I do for, you know, the play after that? Get yourself thinking more positive. If you're dwelling on them scoring, you know, that just makes things even worse. Try and keep a positive atmosphere about yourself. Try and, you know, don't let your head fall down. Don't let things get against you. And again, in this situation, you kind of need a bit of help from your teammates as well, and your coaches, that you know, they got to be supportive for you as well. You know, if they start getting down and they're like, oh geez, you know, you let in another one, it does make things a lot more difficult. So it is a bit of a team game. You need help from them as well. You know, that if you show them that you're still working hard and trying, they'll try and support you. and everything will be a bit more positive. So it's trying to keep more of a positive attitude. So, and the other situation where you're hardly getting any shots and, you know, your team is winning, keeping your concentration, it's much harder thing to do because there's just so much time and space around you. So in those situations, I find you have to keep reminding yourself of like, again, key phrases kind of thing. Just keep yourself thinking about the game, and even keep moving around, stretch a little bit or whatever. Keep yourself fresh so that when there is a chance of them getting a shot, you're staying nice and light, you're free and moving, you're in the right spot, in your right frame of mind. So that takes a bit of work as well. And so that's, how are you gonna say, it takes a bit of work, and you need to be able to turn on your concentration when you can. So hopefully that helps.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go to PJ next.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. How are you?
Good, yourself?
Good, yeah.
Right.
Keeping above ground. Keeping above
Yeah, exactly.
ground.
Yeah, that's what we can do.
Our games are a bit funny. 2 games a day, and warm-ups are very strange. We go from a 5 minutes straight into a game. You get like 30 seconds between the last one. And then, so basically, you're there half an hour before the game. What would you do to warm up? What would you do in that 5 minutes? Would you just stretch, or would you do a little bit of active warm-up too?
Yeah, active warm-up is what I would try to do. So especially you got a short amount of time, so you have to be like get dressed quick, and if you can get out and go for a little run beforehand, that would help as well. You know, get a bit of blood flow. But I find when you get out onto the court to play, that you need to, you know, because time is short, you need to be, you know, organized in what you want to do. So I think you need to be just static stretching is not that great. A little bit of that, loosen up, get your movements, practice your movements, try and get some shots in. Don't let yourself get too tired, but you need to work up a bit of a sweat in the warm up as well. Okay, so it's if you could get your team to organize what they want to do in these warm ups, it would help quite a little bit. I know with Kilkenny, we sadly lack on doing that. And it's certainly, like Connell can agree with that, it doesn't help not having a good warm up.
Oh.
But it's the whole idea is work up a little bit of sweat, keep things moving, work on your technique, but keep it simple. And yeah, so if you can try and organize, even in your when you're practicing it at home, try and get or like, you know, just regular training with the team, try and get to do that in your trainings there, so everybody knows what they're doing. A nice simple little, you know, you just want a few shots here and there, little passes, you know, one pass and a shot. Keep it simple, just, you know, basic shots like that, just to get your head into it, and something to get yourself to feel good about. You know, make a few good saves as well.
So like simulate the warm up as your warm up nearly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So that'll help.
That's cool. What would you do directly after a game if you knew you had another game in that day?
And that day, yes. So, yeah. So what I would do is I would make sure I have a good stretch after the game. So, because especially if the first game, if you have a tough game in that, you know, your muscles are going to be a little bit overworked. You're more likely to get a little bit too tight, and you're running a risk where you're getting in the next game of having an injury. So having a good stretch, sort of, you know, a good cool down, try and relax as much as you can after that. You know, get your fluids back up, make sure you drink lots. You know, depending on how much time you have between games, get a bit of food into you, something light that you can digest easy to give you a bit of energy. Try and relax, forget about the first game, you know, take a bit of time away from it. And then again, depending on how much time you have, then you have to start thinking about the next game. And then that's where you start getting your mental preparation before the game of, you know, okay, if we're playing, you know, this team, you know, their team have got lots of shots, they'd like to do this kind of thing. So I can be thinking of that. So you start mentally preparing yourself before you start going into the next game. So, but it's winding down, relaxing, building yourself back up again. But I think stretching is important in that situation if you want to prevent injuries.
So a good stretch between games. And
yeah, exactly.
Second game, you have the same 5 minute warm up. Would you put the same into as you did the first game?
Yeah. For the most part, yes, I think that's important that you get a good feel for the puck again, get yourself back into it. You know, you could do a little bit less on each thing if you want. You know, and again, it comes down to how good your conditioning is. If you're in good conditioning, you should be able to handle it, no problem. You should be able to play the 2 games, no problem. But if you're not in the best of shape, you know, you have to maybe tone it down just a little bit. So it's depending on everybody's condition really and how they feel. But I think it's always good to get a good feel from a few shots. You know, get a feel of the puck, get yourself back into the game mode again. So
that's it. It'll help with preventing injuries, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just because the training sessions are in Ireland, so the goalies I think kind of get neglected. I don't think it's Ireland. I think it's everyone get neglected.
Yeah. Exactly.
3 things a goalie could do, say when the coach is talking to the team, trying to explain some mad, complicated thing. They usually have 5-10 minutes going, I'm sat here listening to this, I don't need to. Is there say that happens in a training session? Yeah. What 3 things would you do at every training session? What would you go out of your way to do that you think are most important for a goalie to do every time they lace up?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So in that situation, so it's always important still to hear what the coach has to say about what they're doing. But in that situation, you could just be on your knees and practicing your rotations, you know, in a butterfly, going left, going right, you know, getting your chest moving over, simple things like that. That's not going to really distract the other team or your teammates. You're still paying attention because it's always important to know exactly what your team is up to. So you're still part of the team because he's explaining a drill, whatever, there can be parts of it that will include you. And so you want to know what's happening so that when the drill starts, you know what's happening, you see what's happening, but you can be doing little things like that. You can be doing some stretching as well, little, things like that. Again, it's not going to be too distracting. You can still pay attention to what's happening and you can help yourself stay nice and loose. So you're not going to tighten up, and if it's early on in the training, it's also good just to get your flexibility going, keep yourself going. You can ask questions as well to your coach. That would help. Make sure that show that you're engaged in what's happening. Trying to think of another term. Drink, have some water, especially if it's a hard training and you're working up a sweat, things like that. So, but I still think unless the coach tells you to go away, I think you should be there and still be part of the team, but you can still do things for yourself. So.
No worries. Do I have one more? I don't know. Okay. Because I'm organized. I think you went over dry land training. Just what do you do for your dry land training?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been a while since I've had to do that myself, but you need to work on your conditioning. So basic things of to get your endurance up. Hand-eye coordination is all a key thing to it as well.
Hand-eye.
With tennis balls, I love playing tennis and badminton and table tennis and squash and things like that with hand-eye coordination, getting fast hands, fast feet, things like that. So best for conditioning. So, little light sprints, you don't have to run marathons or anything like that. Short distances is fine for goaltenders. Doing things with elastic bands, a little bit of resistance training that way. Try and do things in a crouch position while you're training, with your hands up and you're moving in sort of lateral movements, like doing ladders and things like that. Again, fast feet, but you're doing it thinking in a goalie position. Okay, so that can really help in working things like that. Again, maintaining your flexibility, key thing in the off season. So, and I mean, there's loads of things you can go on the internet to find out about, like especially that one I was telling you about. She's really good she's got some off season training things to do. The first 10 exercises that are designed specifically for goalies to be doing. So I'd say check that out and see what you get from that. So.
I see you're a full right goalie.
Full right, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that because you're right-handed and you want to use stick handling more than you do saving, or?
No, growing up in Canada, so I'm left-handed. And so for baseball, you throw with your left hand and you catch with your right.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, your dominant arm is your throwing arm. So it just was automatic that I would catch with my right hand. And it certainly makes things easier. You have a little bit of an advantage when you're playing against the other teams. So
it's harder equipment too.
Exactly. So
just from that was what I was gonna ask. What grip? Because you're a far right. Like, do you use the Torco grip or do you use the underhand grip?
So I use the underhand grip because nobody was doing the other grip before when I was playing. So I was gone before that actually sort of kicked in. So I think it's whichever one you're more comfortable with. I think the overhand one is much better for doing backhands. So the one I had, my backhand was terrible. I wasn't going to get anywhere with the backhand. So but you have to say whichever is most comfortable for you, whichever is natural, and just go with that and just keep working on it. It's the important thing. So
yeah, gotta love that over right, full right. No worries.
Yeah. There you go.
Much.
So.
Okay, before we go into the poll next, PJ brought it up about stick grips. Do we have probably some young listeners on that probably haven't been introduced to them? Could you give a quick demo / introduction of what the traditional one was and the Turco grip is?
All right. Okay. So so the traditional one was with your catching glove down low, and you just kind of holding it just on the top of the paddle and trying to get as much grip as you can, and basically just shooting like other players. So it's more or less, it ends up being your top hand, your block hand ends up doing most of the work, and your bottom one's kind of guiding the puck and doing it. So the other one, your bottom hand is actually turned up and holding it. So you're holding it stick like this instead of like that. Okay. So, and then you see a lot of goalies do this now, and they have a bit more, that bottom arm can get into the shot a bit more easier. So, so it's kind of demonstrated. I don't have gloves or anything with me here at the moment, but that's the situation. Basically, the first one is like that, and you're playing the puck, and the other one is you're like that, and you're kind of pushing the puck that way. So I think with the overhand grip, where your hand is up, you're much better at doing backhands, I think. So you can adjust to that. So that's something everybody can just practice themselves, see which they're more comfortable doing, and stick with that. So.
Cheers. I'm going to go over to Paul now.
Hi, thanks for that. Hi, Rob. Thanks for the presentation. Really, really pleased with it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
That's been well. So I'm showing my age with this one, but I actually saw you play years ago when I was with the Paisley Pirates. Watched the Paisley Pirates years ago. So I've seen you play. It's leading into my question. I've grew up watching goalies like yourself playing like the more stand-up style, less of the butterfly backline and everything else. And I find at training sessions, I'm a lot more, I do a lot of fitness along the side, but I'm a lot more knackered than the other goalies, getting down and getting back up.
Right.
The old-fashioned way is a bit harder. Do you feel that the conditioning I would need to do is more intense or different than somebody that is a pure butterfly goalie, or is it a little bit in the middle?
Sorry, can you just got a little bit there?
Is the conditioning a little bit different for
being a butterfly goalie?
For being more stand-up?
More stand-up. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you're using your muscles in a slightly different way. Okay. And when you're standing up more, it's how would you say? Yeah. So your lateral movement is a little bit more different than when you're in the butterfly and you're kind of pushing across. So it's all more on when it gets down into your hips and your knees and the strength of those. So yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question. So like myself, I was a butterfly goalie, but I was trained to be a stand-up goalie at the same time, and it made that like sort of doing squats and all the time was the key element in the training. And it's just a matter of getting the repetition down and getting your movements down. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm not really answering this.
No, it makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah. So so it's because both of the movements are not a real natural movement. It's not anything else in other, skating positions, whatever. So you have to have developed muscles slightly different than the other players. And again, it just takes a bit of time and a bit of work. And especially now, like your core strength is such a key thing.
Sure.
If your core is weaker, everything becomes much harder. So that could maybe something for you to work on, is a bit more in your core.
Not definitely.
Don't we all?
Don't we all, exactly. Most of the questions have been answered by PG, so that's great. So the last one was, I'm obviously seeing you play years ago means that I'm over 35 playing now. So
right.
I'm very much a late starter. I played a lot of field hockey, so I like the attitude about being more aggressive, and it's something that I've brought into my game well. But is it counterproductive for me? I play for the Stags, the Glasgow Stags. So we've got A, B, and C teams. Is it counterproductive for me to play outfield, or would it help my game?
I wouldn't say it's counterproductive. A change is always good, and you're using different things and you're getting a different perspective of the game. So and especially it's sometimes it's good to have a bit of a break, a bit of a change, a little less pressure on your hips, a little less pressure on your knees. So you still need that when you put the gear on, that you're focusing on trying to do things right, whatever. But I always think a change is as good as a rest, and it can be just as beneficial. You're still playing hockey, you're still getting the feel for the play, for the puck, and you can actually, by playing out, you can actually get a better feel for what they're doing, right? You get understand how they do things a little bit better than just if you just play in goal. So
that's great. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Okay, no problems.
Thanks.
So we have one here from Georgie. Can you talk about the importance of goalie and player communication, not just in game, but between periods?
Yeah, between periods. So back in the dressing room.
Yeah.
It's in the dressing room. There's a bit of a time to reassess how things have been going, and to come up with if things are going well, how to maintain things going that way. If things are going bad, how to try and regroup and get things going. So with goalies, this is where coaches have to play a bit of a part to make sure that if things aren't going well, that they're not being negative towards the goalie, and the goalie's not giving out towards the players as well. So they really have to be working together on the same page in that. So it's a little bit of, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing. And so I think everybody has to be a team player in that situation and work together and be positive. And so if things aren't going well, and let's say the goalie's not happy with certain things or whatever, he has to approach it in a positive way to say, okay, guys, maybe we could, do this, and this might help that situation. And the same the other way, if they're not happy with what the goalie's doing, they could say, come on, let's try and do this together, and we'll work it out. I'll talk to you, you talk to me, and play. So key thing is in the dressing room is keeping things positive, and there's no point. I found when I was playing goal that if I made a mistake, I know I made a mistake. I'm the first person in the rink that knew that I made a mistake. I don't need people coming on me and telling me that I made a mistake. So I would feel the same with my teammates. When they made a mistake, there's no point in me telling them they made a mistake, because they already knew it. So I would try and keep things positive. I would say positive things to my teammates, and I would hope that they would say positive things back to me. So it makes a big difference. If somebody's nagging you about doing something wrong, it's just going to, make a bad situation much worse. So I think, try and get, and again, this is where coaches have to sort of keep an eye on the team, make sure that there isn't anything going on like that, of everybody's being positive and thinking together. So hopefully that helps.
Absolutely. One from Rory here, who I think must be a player trying to get some secrets.
Right.
which area of the net is the hardest for you to save? And so what is something that goalies should work on in terms of which area of the net is hardest to save?
Right. Well, I find the hardest area just to save a puck is just on the blocker side, just above the pad, just below the blocker. There's that little hole there that's really hard, that if the shot is just higher than the height of your pad when you drop in the butterfly and you can't get your hand down there quick enough, there's a little hole there. So for me, I always found that was the hardest place to make a save. And I remember when I was playing in the Czech Republic that there was one guy, and of course some terrible names, can't remember his name, but he would score there on me almost every game that I played against him. And it just got so frustrating because he just, and you knew he was going to do it. And he just could put that just over my foot and just under my hand. So if I'm giving away something, I'd say that's, so actually on the goal that we scored against Finland, so that's kind of where our player was shooting. He was trying to get it over the pad, under the blocker on that far side. And, it's a good spot to aim for, I think, especially on a straight on shot.
How then can a goalie work to overcome that?
How can you overcome that?
Yeah.
Practice, and it's your ability to read the shot off the guy's stick makes a big difference. If you can see that's where he's going to shoot it, and you can get just that millisecond moving quicker, and then also that when you're dropping in the butterfly, that instead of dropping straight down and trying to reach for it, that if you can drop towards your blocker side, and so you're getting your whole body over in that direction already, you have a better chances of filling up that hole. But that's your ability to read shots key there, that you need to be able to see that's where he's going to shoot the puck. And as soon as the puck is moving, you're gone. You got to do that. So, and again, that takes practice. So.
And a second one from Rory. Is it harder for a goalie to stop a slap shot or a wrist shot?
Me, the hardest shot to stop is a backhand. Slap shots and wrist shots, again, you can follow the sort of read the body motion of the player and then the tilt of the stick, and you can kind of see what's happening much easier. So I think slap shots are overrated shots. I think actually in a way they're the easiest to read. Then I would say snapshots, wrist shots, a little bit more difficult, especially like a dragging wrist shot. It's harder to exactly follow what's going to happen until it comes. But for me, a backhand shot, it can go anywhere. And most guys, they don't have full control over their backhand. And so they could be trying to put it in the top corner and it kind of dribbles off the end of their stick and goes low. And you could see they're trying to put it in the top corner, and that's where you're moving to. And then the puck goes down below you, whatever. So I think backhands are the most underrated shot. And if guys worked on that, they could score a lot more goals. So
there's your tip, Rory.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps.
I have another one. We're sort of starting to see more and more teams in Ireland having two goalies in a team. Something that's probably not been seen before. How can the goalies support each other, be it in training or in games?
Right. Yeah. So, I think that's a great thing that we're getting two goalies and that they're able to work together. So they have to be friendships, between them. They have to be able to work together and to support. So in that situation, you're not going to play every game. So games that you're not playing, you have to be able to give support to your teammate, because in the bottom line, you're still on the same team and you still want to get a result. So if he plays well and they win, that's fantastic. And you're going to have to be supportive of him doing that. And, that might mean he's going to play the next game as well. But then you have to think, okay, he's playing well at the moment. I need to work harder in training to get my game up a little bit better so that when I get my chance to play, I'm going to do the same thing. And then he'll have to sit on the bench. So you have to look at it in that situation. You can't go, he's doing better than I am. There's no point in me being here. I'll go home, kind of thing. It's like you need to have a bit of a work ethic and do that. So, and you're supporting him, that if he's playing well, that's good for the team. So that's good for you. You can keep working and training. And if you get your chance, hopefully he'll do the same thing. He'll be supportive of you. And, again, it's a team game. You need to be teammates. And I think it's a great thing having two goalies like that. So, and even in training, help each other out. If you can see, you're having a problem with this, here, try this, work together, or say, oh, I'm watching you in training. I see this is happening. You should try that. It makes a huge difference having a teammate, goalie who's helpful and works together. And I always, I've had really good friends that were, goalies with me. That's, just make so much easier to go to practice, so much easier to play games. And if you can work together, it's a win-win situation. So.
Absolutely. It's great to see teams put more and more effort to get more and more goalies. So
yeah.
Long may it continue.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So.
And if we have, another question come in here. From Ken again. The game is evolving, it's faster, it's stronger. Shots between the legs, that suit type moves are becoming more and more part of the game.
Yeah.
And not just in a shootout, even more in game, and even more so in inline than ice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How can goalies prepare for this type of evolution of the game?
Yeah. Well, if you see when a guy brings the puck back in through his legs to shoot the puck, it takes a bit of time for him to do it. They're getting much quicker at it, but there's the movement of them doing it. And as they start putting the stick between their legs, you have to see the situation. Let's say if he's moving from my left to my right, and he's a right-handed shot, and he pulls the puck back between his legs to shoot, there's a limit to where he can shoot the puck. So you can be squared up to where he's carrying the puck in front of him. He pulls the puck in between his legs to go shoot from a different angle. You then have to readjust your position of where you're squared up to. So that's the element of reading his body movements, seeing this is what he's going to do, readjusting yourself quick. And I find you need to be a little bit aggressive on it. You kind of have to step up into it and over to get in, to reset yourself to be square. And usually when they're doing that, they're going to shoot. They can't quite bring the puck back around to shoot. Let's say, again, when he's coming from my left, going across to my right, he more or less has to shoot back to my left when he does that, when he brings the puck back out. So that means I have to move to my left and square up and expect the shot to go to my left. It's much harder for him to keep pulling the puck back around to the right. So you see that as you're doing this, see guys in training, you see where they can shoot the puck. And then you realize, okay, that's where I have to readjust my situation and be aggressive on it, make it harder for them. And then it's more or less, it's hard to read exactly if it's going to go high or low, whatever, but you're going to get your body in front of it. And I think I do a bit of work with the goalies in Kilkenny about that, of just because I don't know if you see Paul Cummins loves doing it in training. And so I keep telling him, see his move, as soon as he's going into it, what's going to happen. You just have to quickly readjust, get your body over, and then get in a blocking position as quick as you can. So.
Thank you. If there's no other questions, we'll wrap up for the evening. So thank you to you all for tuning in and engaging in Rob's session tonight, and a huge thanks to Rob for giving up his time and coming on this evening. So
my pleasure. I love talking to goalies. So.
We hope everyone's learned a thing or two, and we hope to see you all back playing on the rink soon.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?